Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'd like to say to everyone who's subscribed so far, thanks a lot. And if you're new to this channel, hope you enjoy the videos. Today I've got what I said in my last video, something special, something a little bit different and exciting. I've got the HDX .68 cal 16 round CO2 pump action shotgun from Umerex as part of their HDR home defense range. Now, just before I have a close look at this beast, which it is, we'll just take a quick recap on some of the other HDR range. Now, the pistol that first came out was the HDP 50. Now, this has its kind of drawbacks, in my opinion, because of its loading system, in the fact that you have to potentially drop the balls over here by pulling the spring back, and it holds 6 rounds in there, and then once you put your CO2 in, which you do like this, and bang that to release the CO2, away you go. Safety's on the trigger over here, and once you've finished, you've got to then follow the same format of pull that forward, which can be quite finicky, and then drop your CO2 in, and away you go. So I'm not a particular fan of the loading system in that. Then came the HDR 50, which took it slightly more refined by basically allowing users to load up these little kind of magazines which hold 6 rounds, and this one's already preloaded. I'll show you an interesting thing with size comparison. This is .50 cal, and then what you do is away you go by loading it back in, closing it up, piercing the CO2, and pulling the trigger, away you go. Now, over here, you've got the beast of a shotgun. This thing is the HDS 68. Now, the first time you see this, again, you're seriously intimidated. It's got some serious weight to it. I know that if someone pointed this at you, you'd be like, wow, okay, is this a real shotgun? It's metal, you know, unbelievable. Again, loading system's the same. Allen key to the bottom. Pop in your CO2. When you're ready to use it, hit it. All of these have an indicator, I forgot to mention, which pop up as red, and you'll see that in a moment on this. Actually, it's there. You can see it over here on the shotgun. And the reason why it's live is because I thought I'd do a quick live demo without shooting something. And then when you're ready to degas them all, actually, it's worth mentioning now, you press that button down and all the CO2 is released. If you try and open up the chambers with the CO2 in without degassing it, that is really hard because of the pressure. Anyway, back to the HDS 68. When you're pretty much ready to go, you've got options. First of all, you've got to load it by pressing that. There's already 2 .68 cal rubber balls in there. Close it, and you can choose, do you want to shoot left-hand chamber, do you want to shoot the right-hand chamber, or do you want to shoot them both at the same time? And again, you know, because this is like short form shooting, in other words, you've got 2 rounds or 1 shot where you're shooting both rounds and then you kind of reload. You can use a nice backboard to capture your targets. And I'm saying this because I know that when it comes down to the HDX 68, because there's 16 rounds, you can have fun with spreading out your targets. So it's worth investing maybe in buying some ammo because you're going to get through it, definitely with this beast. Now, let's talk about this. First thing I'm going to say is that 68 cal, okay, I showed you, you know, the difference, the 50 and the 68, but it's worth thinking about. Let's take a step back and go, well, how big is that actually? It's pretty big. So when you look at like the pellet comparison size between a 177 pellet working your way to 22, 25, 30, 50 cal rubber ball and 68, it's pretty big. I remember seeing a .30 cal pellet compared to a 177, and I couldn't get over it, the size difference. And now look, size difference between those. So yeah, this serious bit of weight. And I know some people are using these for paintballing, and I know that for a fact I would not want to get hit by either one of these. as paintballs, definitely. So, in terms of this, first of all, when you pick this thing up, it's got some serious weight to it, like serious weight. It's unbelievable in terms of the build quality. All of this is really, really nice metal. You've got a polymer pump, which I'll show you in action in a moment. It's pretty loud. You have got a polymer stipple grip. You have got a polymer, really nice. Again, some stippling over here. Rear butt over here. There's like a little bit of rubbering over here. Again, just like the other HDR range, instead of noticing the grips where you load the CO2, with this, I'll show you now, what you do is you press the stock and off comes this to reveal a dual cylinder, oops, I'll drop that, a dual cylinder 12 gram CO2 dual 12 gram CO2 cylinder even, which you then unscrew by using this attachment, which is loose. I wish it wasn't loose. And what you do is it fits one way, and that's the problem. There you go. If you try and put it down the other way, it won't work. And this device, don't lose it. Whatever you do, don't lose it, because without that, it's really hard to take that off. So what you do is you then unscrew that. You get your CO2. You take your first one, dropping it in like that. You get your second one, drop it in like that. Another thing I've seen on a lot of videos, people saying, yeah, you just drop your CO2 in. I'm mindful of putting a little bit of oil, seal oil on the ends of these, just to make sure that the seals are protected. And then what you do is you get your your butt back and you pop it back on. And this can be a little bit of a mission because of the that device that you saw. So you have to kind of just twist it. There you go. And on it goes. And it clicks into place. And it's ready to go. Just before we cock it, it's worth mentioning that over here, you've got a sling attachment, and over here, and it's ambidextrous, so you can do it over here as well on this side too, over here, and then you can put your sling at the front over here as well, so it's on both sides, so it is ambidextrous. And let's talk about, is this, how does it work in terms of ready to load? So right now, the CO2 is in here, and this one has actually been primed. But what you would do is, just as the others over there, like the shotgun and the pistol, they've got ammo, and they've got CO2 in, but they've not been primed in terms of the CO2. This has. So just to be mindful that what you do is, imagine you've got your CO2 in here, and you haven't primed it yet by basically hitting this rear stock kind of button, which is the equivalent of the protrusions from the grips. And what you do is, if you wanted to pierce the CO2, you would bang that once you've loaded your CO2, and then out pops that. And it's worth mentioning that definitely, if you want to, towards the end of a shooting round, get rid of your CO2, then you would basically press this button and push it down, and basically all of the CO2 gets released. Now, to cock this or pump it, you first of all pump it like that, and you get your HDR 0.6H cal rubber balls. I've got some over here, and you would load them up in here one by one. You can use this little device over here, which I haven't used because it's a little bit awkward to try and get it in to the magazine guard over here. So what you do is you're supposed to slide that in like that, there, like that, and then what you do is you push your ammo in, 16 of them, one at a time. And then once you're done, you take that out, slot that back in to here into the grip, he says. There you go. That's back in place. Have I put that in right? Yeah, I have. Yeah, I put it back in right. He says, dropping it. Or is it this way around? I think it's that way around there. That's the way around it should go. There, like that. And then once you've done that, you're ready to... Now, that's really satisfying when you do it. Now, just to let you know, this thing's loud. Like, proper loud. It's probably one of the loudest things I've shot, definitely indoors. Here we go. And it's got some weight to the pull to the trigger. Now, that's loud. Now, notice when you shot it, the trigger goes into this safe mode. Essentially, you can't pull the trigger until you've pumped the gun, until you've pumped the shotgun. Once you've pumped it, the trigger's primed, comes into a forward position, and then away you go. That's pretty loud, but it is gratifying. I'll tell you, I'll just do it one more time. So, oh, you see what I mean? And then, loud. Definitely loud. But at the same time, amazing. It just feels like wow. And thank goodness it's in the UK over here. It's fireworks, 5th of November. So we get to celebrate having fireworks displays. So there is the excuse to try this out in the garden without disturbing the neighbours. But I would be sensible and let the neighbours know if you do plan to use this in your garden. Also, it's worth kind of just mentioning these sights can be removed if you want. You can put a scope on it if you want, although I don't know why you would, because ideally this is kind of short distance, aimed at short distance. It's not long range really. You can adjust these, you can move them left and right, up and down with the screws over here and over here, and also you can move this up and down the rail by adjusting the screw over here. But this is some serious bit of kit. Serious bit of kit. It is absolutely a beast. And again, I think that Umerex have done a really fantastic job in terms of build quality and just taken the whole HDR range one step further if you look at the others. And then obviously here we go in terms of the actual shotgun as well. The Pump-Action Shotgun. I know that there's a new shotgun coming out, which they've gone back to the loading system from the HDP 50, except they're using 68 cal, and it's essentially a shotgun but without the butt, pretty much like this. And what you do is you load 68 cal ammo like with a spring that you pull back and drop the balls in there. And I just like, why have they done that? I don't know. Kind of lost the fun. It's almost like a HDB 50 on steroids, a slightly bigger version. But this definitely, I cannot wait to try this out and see what it's capable of doing in the garden. And when I say what it's capable of doing, I've seen YouTubers do some crazy things with the HDS 68 in terms of what they put in the chambers and what they're shooting out in the name of experimentation. I won't be doing that. I'll just be sticking to the basically the 68 cal ammo. It's worth mentioning as well, when you buy these, right, if you get the branded ones from Umerex, they tell you how much they weigh. I had the choice to get either 2.8 grams, don't know if you can see it there, 2.8 grams, or 2.67 grams. But sometimes when you get these in shops, they're already kind of opened by the retailers and pre-packed into bags of 15, 25, 50, 100, whatever. I chose to buy these because I actually saw weighting and they're actually branded Umerex. And I want to try this with actual Umerex branded balls. I've also noticed there is a difference sometimes when you buy unbranded ones in terms of the texture. So there is definitely a difference between the weight and texture of the balls, which could have some distinction on accuracy. So bear that in mind. And again, I'm just, like I said, I'm really, really keen to try this out. Really, really keen to see what it can do in terms of plinking fun and what it can do compared to the others. I've tried out all of the others on essentially just targets at specific distances and also at some tin cans. And the HDS 68 does some serious damage to tin cans, I'll tell you that. But this 16 shots, imagine 16 shots just stood in one place, just decimating a tin can. Yeah, which is why people use this for paintballing. I'm just beyond me. I wouldn't use it for paintballing, no way. Well, I wouldn't want to be shot with this by a paintball anyway. But what a piece of kit it is. So there you have it. You've got the HDX 68 16 round CO2 pump-action shotgun, which is part of the Umerex HDR range. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I know it's different. It's not a PCP. It's CO2, and not only is it a CO2, it's part of a HDR home defense range. Something different. I did say that, but you know, I'm interested in these, you know, differences and anything that's fun within the remit of air guns, air pistols. So yeah, please keep in tune for the channel because I have got some really, really exciting stuff coming up. And I've actually got some PCPs which I haven't reviewed yet or shown to the channel, which I'm very keen to do. I've just been waiting for a little bit of time so I can plan out when and how I can bring them to you guys and do a little bit of a video on them. But for now, hope you've enjoyed this. If you've liked what you've seen, please hit the like button. Please also subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Thank you very much. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.